Welcome to Ask When Anyone. Because Facebook is in a little bit of hot water right now, I am not the teacher on Facebook. I have brought on a guest teacher to teach us all about Facebook and what we can do and can't do. And for those of you that don't know, I have deleted my Facebook account. I have taken the podcast off Facebook, and then it fell off LinkedIn. I just have to put it back on LinkedIn when I have time, which in the next couple of weeks I have time because I only have 3 more weeks of classes and schoolwork. So I will put it on LinkedIn, but it's gone off Facebook because of Cambridge Analytica and because of what they did, and they stole thousands of people's data via quizzes, and even if you didn't take those quizzes, you were still in jeopardy because they were going off your friend's profile. So enough of me rambling. I'm going to bring my guest teacher on, Stephanie, and Stephanie is the co-founder of Socialify, and I had her on the podcast way back when I first started out, and the day Facebook hit the news, I emailed Stephanie's team and said, help me explain this to my fans. So without further ado, I'm going to let Miss Stephanie take it away.
Well, thank you, Wynn. Thanks so much for having me back on the show again. I know it's been a couple of years, and I love that you've continued to do your amazing podcast, and excited to be back on. So, yeah, Facebook has been in the news over the past few months now with the data breach or scandal, and I understand that's why you're now not using the platform. But I can share with you that Facebook is now taking many more precautions. They've revoked a lot of access from third parties being able to access data. So something like what happened several years ago will hopefully never happen again. So I'm still on Facebook. All of our clients are on Facebook, and we definitely have trust in them that going forward these breaches won't happen going forward.
Well, that's great, but another thing that Facebook did before the breach, and I was made aware of this because I listened to podcasts about writing and self-publishing, and the podcast said it was Kristen Elephant of Creative Writing, and she has a fabulous podcast, so there's a plug for her. But she said Facebook is now throwing the baby out with bathwater when it comes to business pages. They're going yucky patooey. We don't like business pages. We like what you had for lunch better, and we are attracting what you had for lunch more than promoting your books, in my case, or in many authors' case.
Well, Facebook really does have an incredible advertising platform, and the way that Facebook is able to make money is businesses like ours or yours who want to promote your book or your podcast or whatever you might be selling, whatever you want to share with the world on Facebook. They have an ad platform that you can use to be able to promote this content. So it used to be that you could have a lot of people who like your Facebook page. You could have 10,000, 100,000 people like your page, and a lot of your audience would see the content that you're promoting from your business page. But now Facebook over the past few years has become more of a pay-to-play platform as a business. And I actually view this, and we at Socialify view this as a good thing because you can specifically target your exact audience. So you can say if you want to target people on Facebook who are interested in inspirational podcasts and live in a particular city and are of a certain age, you can reach that exact audience with your content. So yes, it is the case that you can't reach as many people organically, but through advertising, which is extremely inexpensive on Facebook to target your exact customer, you are able to do that.
It's interesting because when and this shocked me just a little bit, scared me, when I was on Facebook, and I'm not anymore, you guys. So when I was on Facebook and I applied to the Academy of Arts University, Facebook knew that I applied to the Academy of Arts University. I did not tell Facebook that, but I might have mentioned it on my profile, but I didn't think they were going to throw ads in my face about the Academy of Arts University. They started throwing ads in my face about the Academy of Arts University, and I'm like, stop, you guys! I already applied. I know what I want to do there. And then when I went to sell a bunch of stuff on the Real on behalf of my mother when she passed away, they started targeting the Real ads at me. So what is that? What?
Sure, that is a great question. So I'm going to tell you all the secrets now and how it actually works. So it's not that Facebook is just putting up these ads in your face. What it is the marketers behind those companies. So behind the Real, behind the school, they're the ones that are advertising. So it's not Facebook saying, oh, let me just put an ad in front of you as Facebook. Yeah. It's actually the marketers, the marketing department or agency behind those particular brands. So if you were applying to that particular school and you were on their website, just because you didn't go to their Facebook page or like their Facebook page, but if you went on their website, that school was likely running retargeting ads on Facebook. So then they know you're a Facebook user. When you go on Facebook, those ads will come up, so then that school will stay top of mind for you and get you to click over to them if you haven't completed your application. Or if you're on the Real and we're selling things, the Real is running advertisements on Facebook because you've been on their website. So that's something that's called retargeting, and you can retarget users on Facebook once they've been on your website. So that's how it works.
Yes. Okay. So it wasn't necessarily Facebook throwing these ads in my face with the marketing team. And luckily these two companies and luckily the Academy of Arts isn't a scam school. So I felt a little bit more comfortable. And as you guys know, I'm getting a fashion journalism degree out of there, so that's why I use that as an example. But after I applied for about 2 months, the marketing team was really persistent on Facebook, and I laughed because I Googled the Academy of Arts. That's how I found it when I was Googling journalism schools. Yes, I Googled journalism schools, but Google wasn't the target necessarily. It was Facebook. And I'm like, well, this is not cool. This is not cool. So I just wanted to get my hunch out that many years ago, it wasn't Facebook targeting me. It was the Smart Aleck retargeting team over at the Academy of Arts, also at the Real.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for answering my selfish question. Now, okay, if you turn your cookies off, which cookies are to get to the New York Times, cookies are to get to the Boston Globe, cookies are to get everywhere nowadays. And I know a person, he's actually my dad, who thinks cookies are annoying, cookies on the computer are annoying, so he turns them off. And that limits your access to certain stuff. If you turn your cookies off, will they still do retarget ads, Stephanie, or no? How does that
Yeah, no, the answer is it really depends. It also depends if you turn things off on one browser and you're using another browser.
Okay.
What you can do with Facebook, you can opt out of certain types of ads. So now the privacy settings are much better. So after the everything that's happened with Facebook over the past few months, they have updated the privacy section. So you are able to opt out of certain types of advertisements. So that's something I would definitely, if people are not enjoying the type of content they're receiving as ads, you should definitely go into your settings on Facebook and you can customize things so they can be more relevant for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I said, the reason why the breach happened is because the Russians bought a bunch of fake Facebook profiles and screwed with every data under the sun. And even if you weren't taking those quizzes, which on the first go around on Facebook, I was taking those quizzes. I don't know why, but since I use a Facebook page for my books, I stopped taking those quizzes. But even if you don't take those quizzes, your friends can still be involved. So how do we stop those quizzes popping up, all those quiz requests popping up, Stephanie? I mean, strangers were sending me quiz requests, and now I won't do it anymore because I'm not on Facebook anymore because of the data breach. But how do we stop these quiz requests from popping up on all social media?
Well, you have the choice, right? So if someone sends you a request to take a quiz or someone shares it, you don't have to take it. So it's your choice whether or not you want to take the quiz and get those answers. My feeling is that Facebook is a free service for users. So we go into using Facebook. We should go into using Facebook with the expectation that we're sharing our information. So Facebook has access to that information that it can use to share with advertisers. So they're able to, essentially, the advertisers are paying for our use of this free platform. Otherwise, Facebook would have to become a paid platform to be able to make money from its users, and most likely people would not pay to use the platform. They don't want to go to that model. They've always said they'll likely never go to a paid service. The advertisers are how they drive the revenue for Facebook. And Facebook does do a lot of social good, and obviously this was a really big breach that happened a few months ago or several years ago that just came out a few months ago. But Facebook makes, billions upon billions of dollars, and they do a lot of social good. And they just announced that they're going to be doing donation matches for nonprofits on Facebook. So they are trying to do really great things and bringing communities together and groups together. So of course, not everything is perfect, but at the end of the day, it's a free service that everyone is able to use. So if you're sharing information with Facebook, then you're giving them the right as a user to be able to share your data or use your data to put the best ads in front of you. So then the advertisers are able to get the best results.
And then Facebook, after all this chaos, they said, oh, we want to start a dating app like Tinder or eHarmony. And I'm like, oh, that's a little too much for me. Facebook dating app? I don't think so. And so even though they're trying to do social good, they're getting a little bit of ahead of themselves. And now I know from what people have told me is that you set a budget on those Facebook ads, and Facebook tries to stick to your budget, and people have told me the return on an investment ROI is sometimes great, sometimes not so great. I mean, I was speaking to our author yesterday about, and her episode is coming out today, and today's being Wednesday, and this one won't come out today, so they will go back to that. But she was telling me her Facebook got hacked, and she didn't have the heart to rebuild her fans, and nor do I. And so Facebook got hacked before the Cambridge Analytica, and it's like, nor do I have no time to invest in Facebook, and I made that public statement on the bestseller experiment, and I probably lost 1,000 fans. But that being said, I would rather keep me safe than deal with all this Cambridge Analytica stuff. Now, the next thing is I want to speak to you now that we know what Facebook has tried, and where, if you go into your private settings on Facebook, you guys will see how to lock down the data, and I will try and Google it and put it in the show notes, and so you guys can see a screenshot of it. Now, what about this GDPR nightmare that is coming to the UK? And I'm actually, you guys, trying to set up my mailing list into the account of GDPR, and I actually use MailChimp, believe it or not, and I actually have a small MailChimp subscriber list. So, again, I'm asking this as a selfish question, Stephanie. How would I do it in accordance with the GDPR? Because I'm an author and I want to be in accordance with what's going on.
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. So they are rolling out new rules around protecting customer data by May 25th this year. So what I would suggest doing, and I can send you a link to an article where they'll share the new standard for customer rights regarding data, but you're going to have to be sure that you have systems and processes that are in place and ready to go so you don't violate any of those terms. But those are supposed to be announced in the next few weeks, and I can definitely send a link over to an article to you to be sure that you're in compliance with everything.
Thank you, because I'm like now with Facebook and the GDPR, I'm about to go nuts. My company is about to go nuts. I'm about to go nuts because I'm like, look, I already lost 1,000 fans to Facebook. I don't want to be losing any more fans to GDPR. And the reason why GDPR is cracking down is because data. People are so data so happy that it's not even funny. And so basically what I'm going to do, guys, is Google the Facebook settings and see if I can find a screenshot of that somewhere. And then I'm actually going to Google that today when I get home. And then I am going to definitely put Stephanie's article in the show notes about GDPR because I want you guys to be safe as authors, and I don't want people coming after independent authors. I mean, even though I have a publishing deal now, and I still do, and even though I'm going to be self-publishing my next book as of September 11th, I want you guys to be safe as independent authors. Yes, well, I'm actually kind of stepping away from the independent publishing field, even though I've been in it for 7 years, and I'm giving my next YA novel to my publisher, and so when Simply Dictation comes out, all about Silly and Dragon actually speaking. That's how we're doing it because Apple's so picky. Speaking of data breaches, they don't want me to use the word silly in my book title. There are trademark issues going on, so I'm calling it Simply Dictation, and I'm actually combining the two mechanisms of Dragon actually speaking and silly because, and I'm sorry, you may have to turn silly off when I say silly because silly is about to go off and people will scream at me. So I'm using the mechanisms of both speech dictation on two different platforms to show you guys how I actually do it. It's behind
That's
the scenes.
awesome.
I mean, you guys
So
have
proud of
been
you. That's so
asking
exciting.
me. They've been asking me for this book for about 7 years now, and I just picked a cover designer today, so I am getting the manuscript together as we speak, and it's coming out September 11th, and I am going to be researching book covers, and I'm going to make it good, and I'm going to impress you guys with my knowledge so you guys can write books too. And that being said, enough about my book coming out. What is your book? What is your favorite book, Jeff?
Well, I have two, so I have to give a shameless self-promotion or plug to the book that Courtney and I wrote a few years ago called Like,
Yes.
Love, Follow, all about using social media to grow your business.
You gave me a copy of.
Yes, if you like it.
You gave me a copy of, and I still haven't read it. You know, in the next couple of weeks, once I get my classes all organized and once I do that, I am going to sit down, read that book. I know exactly where it is on my bookshelf, and so do a thing with, I don't care.
Oh, I can't wait till you read it. I want to hear what you think, and maybe you'll learn some new social media tips. But the other book that I absolutely love, it's by a good friend of ours. His name is Jim Curtis, and his book is called The Stimulati Experience. And Jim wrote this book to inspire other entrepreneurs and people to overcome challenges and setbacks, both in their personal life and their professional life. So he shares his personal story of overcoming medical challenges and how he found these stimulati to be able to help him overcome everything and move forward. And it's a really incredible book, and I highly recommend reading it. It's The Stimulati Experience.
Yes. And now, what is the biggest challenge in your business? Because I know you deal a lot with Facebook, and I know you deal a lot with LinkedIn, and of course, SocialFi is dealing with social media day in, day out. And so what has been the biggest challenge in your business since Facebook did what it did, and now since the GDPR is doing what it's doing? I mean, it has to make an impact on your business.
I would say for us, dealing with the Facebook updates really hasn't impacted our business too much because the Facebook advertising platform still is working just fine. There's a few updates to it and different targeting that you're not able to do. But I have to say the biggest challenge in our business really has nothing to do with Facebook or any updates to regulation. Our biggest challenge actually is growing and scaling our business. So as we have been getting more and more clients and growing, it's actually learning how to scale the business, being able to hire people fast enough, train fast enough to be able to take on more clients. So that's actually what I would say our biggest challenge is.
Yeah. Outside of Facebook, no, growing and scaling the business. And what would you recommend to someone who's sitting in a cubicle right now who thinks, oh, I want to do what Win and Stephanie do, Win being on the other side, me being on the other side, and Stephanie being on the social media side. I want to work from home in my PJs, not, let's just emphasize not, yeah. And so what would you recommend to the person who's passionate enough to become a CEO or a journalist in my case, and escape the 9 to 5?
Yeah, so you have to start somewhere. So I would say the first step is to really figure out what you're passionate about. What passion can you really turn into a business? If you want to quit your 9 to 5 job, just know that when you do take the leap into being an entrepreneur, you're actually not working 9 to 5, you're working 24/7. So when it's your business,
Yeah.
it really is your baby. So you need to be sure you pick something or start something that you're really passionate about, that you're not going to mind, working on when it's 2 a.m. and you have an idea and waking up and writing something down. It's a lot of work to be an entrepreneur, but it is absolutely so rewarding. I always say I'm probably not employable anymore by any other company because I'm so used to just running my own business and making things happen and, moving at the speed of light and pushing forward. So I would say the biggest things that are important, again, picking something you're passionate about, having a positive attitude, not being scared or having a setback when people say no, because you'll hear a lot of no's before you hear yeses. So you have to have persistence and resilience, and that's something that's been key to our success, and being open-minded for change. So just because you start a particular business or you have an idea and you start moving forward with it, that idea, things change all the time. So you have to be flexible and open-minded and willing to pivot. And if something isn't working well, trying something new. And then surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, people who have started businesses before that you can learn from and have paved the way, so you don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. You can learn from other people's mistakes, and really just someone who's able to really push forward. So don't be scared to start your own business. It is definitely possible. Myself and Courtney, neither of us had backgrounds in running an agency before we started a social media agency, and we did it. So really anything is possible if you have a positive attitude, the persistence, you're not going to give up, and you have the desire to want to make it happen.
Yeah, because I took on another full-time job as an author. You guys, I literally took another full-time job, and if my day job wasn't so supportive of my books, which my colleagues actually do listen to this podcast. I know one of them at least does. So if my day job, which I've had for about 10 years, believe it or not, and I'm slowly walking away from that day job to become a full-time author because I am coming up with the financially freedom number of $4,500 per year for me to live on and keep going. And as you know, I have been blessed with a family who did really well in Caterpillar tractors. We didn't sell the franchise until 1998. We sold the franchise of Caterpillar tractors / Caterpillar Electric, and this was in the Bahamas, by the way, which is a third world country. And so I've been blessed with a trust fund, which we're now working on the process of getting the trust fund to me. The next step is a mental test, and I've been in contact with a lawyer that's been assigned to me, and we're slowly but surely getting the mental test going on. Yes, I have to take a mental test because this is a huge amount of money, but the trust fund is not for my books. It's to keep me going and keep me strong, because me comes first and books come second. So with my trust fun. And with my books, I am going to be able to walk away from my day job and when I'm not making as much money as I would like, just because I'm a teacher and teachers don't get paid that much in general. So in the next 6 years, I'll be able to walk away and start a new job and become a full-time author. And that is my ultimate goal. And that is why I'm going back to journalism school, and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully this week I'll get a date on my test, and we'll see. And so I am becoming more and more financially savvy, even though math is not my strong point. And I am becoming more and more financially independent, even though I still have help with my daily needs. I mean, I've had a bank account since I've been 10. And I actually have 2 rainy day funds, which I don't touch unless I really, really need to. I actually have 2 rainy day funds, which gain $100 of interest a year, and that's my 2 rainy day funds. And the last time I touched them, I got $100 and put it in a rainy day fund, which I'm not allowed to touch and haven't touched since I got the rainy day fund. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And my next book is coming out. My teen novel is coming out before Simply Silly. I can tell you that. We don't have a launch date for the Lipstick Coffee Shop, my teen novel, but we do have a launch date for Simply Silly because I'm self-publishing that myself. And so, yeah.
Well, good for you. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Well,
I love how you're making a plan and making it happen.
That's what I'm trying to do, Steph. And with the help of social media and me and my story of overcoming this. By the way, you guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, and for all my new listeners, because I was recently interviewed on the authors remake, talking about, believe it or not, mailing a list and the power of podcasting. And then I was also interviewed on the bestseller experiment, talking about my books and talking about why I left Facebook. So believe it or not, you guys, if you haven't figured that out, I'm doing all this with a disability, and my disability is cerebral palsy. I am one of 1,000 kids that, well, adults now, but this is a child disability that has cerebral palsy, and I'm doing as much advocacy as I can for cerebral palsy and for those who can't speak. And with the power of social media, and Stephanie will agree with me, is here to say, and the power of Twitter and power of Facebook, if you're still on Facebook, which I'm not, but that's my decision completely. And no one told me to get off Facebook. I just decided the time it was right for me to get off Facebook. But the power of social media is here to stay, and I believe that social fly is here to stay. And even though we're seeing these changes with social media, Social Fly is one of those companies that can keep up with the changes. I know they can. And they wrote a book, and having a book is the best business card in the world. Thank you very much. Stephanie and I both know that. And so, Stephanie, where can people find you? And yes, subscribe to that goddamn mailing list of yours. And I just swore on my own podcast, but that's okay. And so, and your newsletter is the coolest newsletter I have ever seen in my life. She keeps
Thank
me
you.
updated on what's going on. No, it's that's it. I keep tabs on what's going on you guys, and you guys have a Facebook Live show.
Yes, we do. Yes, and we do it every Wednesday. So right before we did this podcast today, we filmed our Facebook Live show. And actually today we had on a really special guest, Scott Rogowski, who's the host of HQ. Do you know about HQ, the live trivia game show? Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you gotta look into HQ. So we had Scott on the show today. So we do a Facebook Live show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. live on the Social Fly Facebook page. We also go live on the Social Fly Instagram account as well. And we share with our audience every week what's trending in social media, all the updates from the news, the social media news, changes to the platforms, Facebook and Instagram, basically everything you need to know about social to stay in the know. And that's what we talk about on our show. And we always bring on a guest to talk about their business, or we bring on an influencer. Today we had Scott on because he's hosting our charity event next week called M Squared in New York City, where we'll be raising money for the Tisch MS Research Center in New York. So any New York listeners, if you are listening to this before May 16th, definitely come check out our charity event.
It goes out today. So, New York, you kind of got a date next week because MS, even though I don't have MS, I know people with MS, and I actually know a woman in this valley who has MS, who's walking in the robotic suit that I'm walking in, and they tell me it's improved her life. So MS is something that's near and into my heart. So New York, you kind of have a date with MS next week and Social Fly. Just saying.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you can follow us on you can follow us on social media at Social Fly on all social platforms. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm on Instagram at Steph Jill Cartin, STEPHJILLCARTIN. And you can buy our book if you're interested in learning more about social media for your business, for entrepreneurs. It's the perfect book for you. And that's likelovefollow.com. And it'll send you right over to Amazon to purchase the book.
And you guys self-published it, didn't you?
Yes, we did. It was the quickest way to do it.
So, yes, querying agents is not so quick. I'm in the process of doing that, and I've learned a lot that agents are still picky. But that's the next step for my books, is to get picked up by a big publisher. Hopefully the agent is nice and understands that I have cerebral palsy, because I will get signed. I'm putting that out to the universe as it gets closer, and we do have a launch date for that. That is, I'm going to start querying agents on June 11th, so a couple of days before my birthday. Even though I won't get responses on my birthday back, I wish, but they typically take 4 to 8 weeks, the typical agent. And this is my third time doing it, and I apologize for the phone being back down. And so this is my third time querying agents. But as I say, the third time's the charm. But if you want a published book quickly, self-publishing is the way to do it. And that's why I invited Stephanie on originally to talk about her company, and you can find her original interview with me on the website. Now Ask Win. At the time it was Butterflies of Wisdom, or maybe even Wins Women of Wisdom at the time. I mean, we did that interview so long ago that it's not even funny. It's still on the website. But I try and keep my website up to date the best I can. So before I let Miss Stephanie go about her very busy day, I'm going to let Stephanie ask me a couple questions.
Questions for you. So my first question is, how did you get interested in journalism?
Oh my God, it's like, well, I figured after 3 to 4 years of doing this podcast, I figured I might as well get trained professionally. And so, when I was actually, believe it or not, going for a business degree. Yes, business degree. But the business degree didn't work out because I got kicked out of college. Yes, believe it or not, women get kicked out of college. So, because I wasn't keeping my grade point average up, and so I was a college dropout. Well, as soon as I got that news, I said, the heck with the business degree. Why not pursue a real true passion of mine, which is journalism? So I Googled, as I said, the Academy of Arts. I looked through their website. I didn't even request information. All I needed to know was, do they help people with disabilities? And if you call a school an asset, they will come up with the answer. Usually they put it on the smack down on the front of the website so anyone can click. So this is what happened to me. I Googled journalism degrees online. I came up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and then I clicked on the Academy of Arts. Turns out accessibility was back down on the front of their website, and turns out that I got in. And when I was doing the Call 9, and I was so fascinated by not only doing the race, but I was so fascinated by the press coverage that I thought one day I'm going to be a journalist, and this is where we sit today.
Good for you. A woman with a dream and a plan, and you make things happen.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you. What do you like to do? What do you like to do for fun? Besides, I know work is fun. But what else do you like to do aside from work?
Yes, work is fun. But when I'm not working, believe it or not, and you guys know this. This is a new passion of mine, actually, and it's not the exo. The exo is not a passion of mine, even though I love the exoskeleton. It's not a passion of mine. My passion is, believe it or not, rock climbing.
Wow.
And I say rock climbing because I do it as an able-bodied person. I put the harness on, they hooked me in. I did it yesterday, and so that's my passion. And talk about a sport that clears your mind. Jeez, if you and I gracefully fell yesterday as I was doing it. Yesterday being Tuesday, and so I gracefully fell, and I'm like, oops. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. It serves to be bicycle. But rock climbing is one of the sports where you have to use all your mental capabilities, because and I'm glad I'm doing it on a rock climbing wall. I'm not that good yet, you guys, but it's still a mental capability sport, because if you make one false move, you go backwards, and backwards is not good. And so rock climbing is one of those passions where it takes me off the computer, and it's just one of those mental capabilities sports that puts me in the best frame of mind. Not only is it a cardio workout, it's mental capability workout too.
That's incredible. I applaud you for being a risk taker and focusing. I am scared of heights now. I didn't used to do when I was younger, but now I don't think I can do it. So
they say, and I'm actually, you guys, I'm actually bringing my rock climbing instructor soon on this podcast, and so you guys will get an inside look at my new passion / my new PT here, because they say if you're afraid of heights, don't do it. They say if you're afraid of heights, don't do it. And what I told my rock climbing instructor the first time I met him is, hello, I have cerebral palsy. Me thinking, he was like, I don't want to work with you because you have cerebral palsy. His response was absolutely, let's do this. My second response after absolutely, let's do this, was, oh, by the way, I'm not afraid of heights. He goes, good. He goes, good, because you all don't do it. Don't do it. And I said, I snowboard, I get on a chairlift, I snowboard, and so I'm not afraid of heights. And so I think me being not afraid of heights helps, because, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for having me on your show. It was so much fun.
Thank you. And thank you for explaining all about the Facebook data and the Cambridge Analytica stuff and GDPR. And I will put Stephanie's link in the show notes, or definitely on the website, you guys. If it doesn't go in the show notes, you guys, it will definitely go on the website. And I just want to thank you guys for supporting this journey of craziness. And then I'll keep you guys updated on my books. I think I will definitely look to Socialfy to somehow help me with book promotion, because they do better social media than I do, and I need this book to do well, and I will keep you guys updated on my books. And Stephanie, you and I might be talking offline to see how you guys can help me with my book, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on my book. But the first launch date you guys have to remember now is September 11th for Simply Dictation, and I will keep you guys updated if I get a big publisher too, but the big publishers don't do half the multitude independent publishers do, just because they have thousands of books. So that's why I may be applying Socialfy to help me with this book launch, and we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys listening. I know I tried to make Facebook fun again, but I definitely appreciate you guys listening. Thanks to you guys. Bye.
Bye.